Picture this. You're a NASA scientist, coffee in hand, reviewing routine telescope data, when suddenly you see something that makes you spill that coffee all over your keyboard, an object moving through space in ways that violate everything you learned in physics class. That's exactly what happened when 3I Atlas was first detected. What started as just another day at the office, beginning of the most puzzling cosmic mystery of our time. And here's the thing, the more they study it, the more terrifying the implications become. If you love this kind of videos, smash that like button. Asteroids don't do that. Nothing in nature behaves like this. The more observatories checked, the more impossible it got. Every telescope around the world confirmed the same thing. This isn't random motion. It's calculated, controlled. It's like the object itself knows where it wants to go. And if that's true, then we might not just be watching a space rock, we might be witnessing technology. This next part blew scientists away. When the James Webb Space Telescope locked its powerful eyes on 3I Atlas, it found something that made zero sense. The object isn't dense like a comet should be. In fact, it's so light, it's almost hollow. Natural space rocks are solid, heavy, but this thing, it's like an empty shell drifting through the void. Even more shocking, it's spinning with perfect stability. No wobble, no drift, nothing. That shouldn't be possible for a natural object. And one astrophysicist even said, either this thing is made of some unknown material, or it was built. That single word, built, turned what was just a space story into something much, much bigger. Off just before 3I Atlas made its close pass near Mars, every major space agency was ready. NASA, ESA, China, all their spacecraft were in perfect position to collect high-resolution data. And then poof, the data stream went dark. No images, no readings, no explanations. Officially, they blamed technical delays, but behind the scenes, scientists whispered a different story. The instruments worked fine. The silence wasn't a glitch. It was deliberate. We've seen this before with other interstellar visitors. The moment things get weird, the information starts disappearing. And this time, that blackout came just as 3I Atlas was closest to another planet. Coincidence? Yeah. No one's buying that. This is the part that has the space community on edge. Every calculation said 3I Atlas would swing by and then shoot back into the stars like the others before it. But that's not what happened. Instead, it slowed down again. The new data shows it drifting toward a stable orbit between Mars and Jupiter. Let that sink in. An interstellar object might actually be staying inside our solar system. No other visitor has ever done this. Think about it. This isn't a rock just passing through. It's acting like it's parking, like it chose to be here. And if it's truly locking into orbit, this isn't just a discovery. This could be history being written right in front of us, Okay, this part is where things go from weird to straight up chilling. 3I Atlas didn't just appear out of nowhere. When scientists traced its path through space, they found something shocking. It entered from almost the exact same angle as Oumuamua and Borisov. 3 separate interstellar visitors, years apart, all gliding in through a narrow 5-degree band. Statistically, that should almost never happen. Random rocks don't line up like that, but coordinated exploration, that's another story. It's like someone is sending them in along the same invisible highway through space. And here's what makes it even more intense. When NASA compared the movement patterns, the similarities were undeniable. Same kind of strange deceleration, same off-the-charts density readings. It's like they're different pieces of the same puzzle, a sequence. Imagine it, not one random visitor, not 2, but a series, each getting a little closer to our home planet. And now, 3I Atlas isn't just passing by, it's staying. If that alignment isn't random, then something out there might be watching, learning, and moving with purpose. This is no longer a cosmic coincidence. It's starting to look like a pattern, and patterns in deep space, they don't happen by accident. Now this is the part that made even the calmest scientists freeze. When NASA's ultraviolet observatory scanned 3I Atlas, it picked up a faint emission line, nothing too crazy at first, but then they noticed something no natural object has ever done. That signal pulsed every 22 minutes, perfectly timed, over and over again. Comets don't pulse like clocks. Asteroids don't send repeating signals. That kind of precision only happens when something is controlling it. NASA tried to play it cool, talking about calibration errors, but behind closed doors, the astrophysics chat rooms lit up like wildfire. If this pattern is real, and it held for days, it could mean 3I Atlas isn't just drifting. It might be communicating, maybe not to us, maybe not in a language we understand, but pulsing light at exact intervals? That's deliberate. Think of it like someone knocking on the door of our solar system, not shouting, not blasting, just knocking again and again and again. And for the first time, humanity might not be alone on the other side of that knock, All right, buckle up. Because this part looks like it's ripped straight out of a sci-fi movie. When astronomers pointed the most powerful telescopes on Earth toward 3I Atlas, they saw something surrounding it, a glowing green halo, right? Now, normally that glow means a comet is made of carbon chains reacting to sunlight. Simple chemistry. But here's the twist. 3I Atlas doesn't have those carbon chains. In other words, the glow isn't natural. Some scientists think it might be a kind of plasma field. Others say it could be an electromagnetic shell, almost like an invisible shield. And here's why that's wild. If the object really is hollow, it should have torn itself apart months ago, but it hasn't. It's stable, perfectly stable. That means something is holding it together. And if that green halo isn't just pretty light, it could be technology. Think of it as a force field, something designed to protect, stabilize, or even power this thing. This isn't how space rocks behave. This is how spacecraft behave. Whatever 3 Atlas is. It's not playing by the universe's natural rules. It's playing by its own. Orbital eye around Mars. American, European, Chinese was perfectly aligned to witness something that may not happen again for centuries. 3I Atlas, a visitor from beyond our solar neighborhood, drifted close enough to the red planet to be captured in exquisite detail. The geometry was flawless. Every instrument was ready. Each spacecraft was positioned at the precise angle to study an interstellar traveler within the glow of another world. It was, in every sense, the perfect experiment, the kind of alignment that scientists dream about but rarely see in a lifetime. Mars served as both witness and mirror, its thin atmosphere scattering sunlight across the intruder's surface, revealing composition, speed, and perhaps even something about its origin. And then nothing, no images, no reports, not a single pixel of confirmation from the orbiters that had the best vantage points humanity could possibly achieve. The moment came and went, passing through our solar system like a whisper, swallowed by static. Astronomers around the world waited for even a hint of data, a raw frame, a spectrum, an offhand remark buried in a research note. Instead, the official channels fell into the same synchronized quiet that now defines this mystery. In the grand scale of cosmic time, 3 Atlas is only a brief visitor, a flash of light crossing the boundary between stars. To lose that moment is to lose a page in the universe's own diary. Once gone, it cannot be recreated. The configuration of orbiters, the relative positions of Earth, Mars, and the object itself, these will not align again for many generations. And so, for reasons we have yet to understand, humanity has turned away from its own window into the unknown. We had the tools, the timing, the technology, and somehow we chose silence. Perhaps the data exists, locked away in encrypted archives, waiting for clearance, or perhaps something in that data defied explanation, challenging the very frameworks we use to understand the cosmos. Either way, what we lost was more than an observation. It was a once-in-a-century chance to confront the universe on its own terms, and we let it pass in quiet. Even before the silence began, scientists studying 3I Atlas were unsettled by its behavior. From the first moment of detection, the object refused to follow the familiar script of a comet or asteroid. It behaved like something entirely outside the patterns of our solar system, a visitor written in an unknown language. Spectroscopic analysis revealed its first secret, a strange blend of elements that defied ordinary classification. Endemic in its spectrum was the faint signature of nickel, bright, sharp, unmistakable, yet there was no trace of iron, its natural twin. In the chemistry of space, nickel without iron is like a shadow without light. It should not exist in isolation, and yet here it was. Then came its motion. Most comets, when heated by the sun, exhale, jets of vapor erupting from their surface, creating a gentle but measurable wobble that alters their trajectory. 3I Atlas, however, showed none of it. No outgassing, no tail, no spin irregularities. It traveled with absolute precision, like a machine obeying its own laws, untouched by solar heat or gravitational pull. Astronomers ran simulations, adjusting for every known force, and still the result was the same: stability. Perfect, unwavering, almost mechanical. It was as if the object was designed to resist the chaos of the cosmos. And then there was the light polarization data. The way light bends and scatters when reflected revealed something entirely alien. The readings were extreme, unlike any comet or rock ever recorded. The light from 3I Atlas behaved as though it were reflecting off a metallic or crystalline structure rather than dust or ice. Some compared it to polished alloy, others refused to speculate at all. Individually, these anomalies might be explained away: an odd composition here, an unusual rotation there. But together they form a profile so improbable it borders on impossible. A body forged beyond our solar understanding, moving with intent, coded in a material that does not belong to the language of planets or stars. And perhaps that is why the silence began. Because what do you say to the world when nature stops behaving like nature? When an object from the deep interstellar dark arrives carrying a signature that feels deliberate, 3I Atlas continues to glide silent and indifferent, leaving behind a trail not of dust or gas, but of unanswered questions. If the chemistry of 3I Atlas raised eyebrows, its motion shattered assumptions. From the moment its orbit was reconstructed, mathematicians and dynamicists began whispering the same impossible phrase: this should not be happening. 3I Atlas is not simply passing through our solar system. Its trajectory weaves between planets with a precision that defies probability. Near Mars, it executed a gravitational passage so exact that some described it as surgical, a maneuver that allowed it to skim just close enough for observation, yet remain untouched by the planet's pull. For natural bodies, such paths are rare. The cosmos is messy, guided by chance and chaos. Comets tumble, asteroids drift, trajectories evolve with every faint push of sunlight or collision of dust. But 3I Atlas moves as though immune to that randomness, steady, constant, deliberate. When researchers fed its data into long-term orbital models, the numbers refused to behave. Each simulation that assumed a purely natural origin broke apart under its own improbability. Even small errors in trajectory, even minor gravitational influences, should have sent it spinning into deviation. Yet it stayed perfectly aligned, a path so balanced that the odds of it occurring naturally fall beyond astronomical measure. Then came the question of mass. Observations indicated a density far higher than expected, too heavy for a comet, too stable for a fragment of ice or rock. Its internal structure, whatever it may be, absorbs and reflects gravitational influence with an efficiency unknown to planetary science. Taken together, these factors paint a picture that does not fit within the vocabulary of random cosmic motion. A body that travels through multiple gravitational wells, each encounter mathematically perfect, each outcome impossibly clean. Statisticians began to whisper what astronomers would not say aloud, that the probability of this being purely natural approach is zero. Something about its precision, its timing, its stability feels engineered. Of course, artificial is a word no one dares to use officially. In the language of science, that word demands proof, and proof, at least for now, remains hidden behind the walls of silence surrounding the data. But somewhere deep inside the modeling labs and mission archives, a quiet realization is spreading. Whatever 3I Atlas is, it's rewriting the mathematics of what space objects can be. And that in itself is the most unsettling data point of all. Silence in science is rarely empty. It is not always the absence of truth. Sometimes it is the space between discovery and confirmation. And that may be exactly what we are witnessing now. If every major space agency has fallen quiet at the same moment, it may not be coincidence or conspiracy. It may be protocol. For decades, buried in the fine print of interagency agreements, there has existed a framework, a guideline created for the unthinkable. It was designed not for politics, not for warfare, but for contact. If this journey through the cosmos amazed you, hit like and subscribe to join our community of space explorers. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video to uncover what 3I Atlas will reveal next.